Hi, my name is Lizzy Z, and today I'm going to show you how to make wet tacos, like these delicious. Oh my goodness, they were so good. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to make them. Mm, mm, mm. So I found these chiles in the store, and I used about 4 of each. And I took them out of the package, put them on a cutting board, cut the tops off, kind of slid them down the middles, and took as many seeds out as I could. Just because the seeds, we don't need the seeds because we're making a sauce with these. And don't worry about it if you don't get all the seeds out, because we're going to be using a strainer later to make sure we don't have any skin or seeds in our sauce. I also wanted to say I got this recipe from Lizzy Lew. I watch her food channel on YouTube, and she makes delicious things. So this is the first one I tried of hers, and I have to tell you, it turned out delicious. I mean, it was so good. My family was begging for more. And I was doing all of this at about 8:45 or 9 in the morning because the meat, let me tell you, the meat, it takes about 7 to 8 hours on low. And I wanted it to be ready for my family to eat dinner tonight. So I got up early to prepare this for them. And it was really worth it because everybody loved it. Now, after I got almost all the seeds out, I prepared a little makeshift grill with some tin foil and a skillet. Lizzy Lew had a special Mexican device called a comal to grill hers on, but a skillet works just as good. So I kept it over medium-low heat for a few minutes on each side, but I kept turning them to make sure they didn't burn. And you just kind of want to do it till it gets fragrant and starts to turn brown and gets that roasted look. Okay, now just as the chiles are roasted and they're all done, we're going to set those aside just for a minute. And we're going to get the rest of our mixture ready to go into the blender in a minute. But first we have to roast some tomatoes, about 3 Roma tomatoes, about 3 cloves of garlic, and a half of white onion. And I cut that into quarters. So I'm going to roast those up nice and good until they start to turn real brown and get that good flavor going, so we can have a great meal. Flavor Flav. Gotta get that flavor going. So these are just about done. And now we have one more step for our chiles, and that is to put them into some hot boiling water for about 10 minutes just to rehydrate them, because these are dried chilies. So we're going to rehydrate those for 10 minutes in boiling water. And as soon as those are done, we're going to take the chiles out and put them into the blender along with our tomatoes, onions, and garlic that we just roasted also. I also threw in some ground pepper and some oregano. So I'm putting the chilies in, and then I added about 4 cups of the juice from the boiled chilies. And then I blended that until it was pretty smooth. No big large chunks of garlic or anything like that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the star of the show, the meat, and it is a 3.5-pound chuck roast. It's gorgeous. And I salt and peppered both sides generously, and I actually had to cut mine because it wouldn't fit in my pan. So into my pot, I put some vegetable oil into the bottom and put it over medium-high heat and let that get nice and hot. And then I seared the meat on all sides. You get that nice crust on it to seal all that yummy flavor in. So I did that for about 5 minutes. And then I took my sauce that I made out of my chilies and poured it through a strainer right on top of the meat. But it didn't easily go through. You see that? I had to use a spoon to kind of push it through because of the skin from the chilies and the seeds. And we don't want all of that in there, so that's why I'm straining it. And then I'm also pouring the water from the chilies, the liquid that we boiled the chilies in. Sorry, my little baby is right here next to me. But so I took that water and then I started pouring that in to help strain the mixture. And also we're going to need that water to cook the meat in. It's chili water. So it's got all that flavor. See how it's draining through to the bottom? Yep, so it takes a while, but pour all that liquid in. And you want to make sure the liquid covers the meat by the time you're done. So now that I have enough liquid in my pot, I'm going to put it to a low simmer and simmer that for 8 hours. Next, I made some salsa. You don't have to make it, but I made some salsa just like Lizzy Lew did in her video, but I'm not going to have that recipe here today. I'm just going to stick to the main course, which is the wet tacos. But I used jalapenos and tomatillos and garlic and onions. And also, I think I added a tomato in there, just one tomato, just so it wouldn't be so hot. Yep, I did. So I also roasted those on the little grill that I made, little skillet grill. And then I put those back into the blender and made a little salsa. And that was actually a hit, and it was really good. My family loved it. I added salt and pepper to that also. It just had a little kick to it because I did use 2 jalapenos, but I took the seeds out of one of the jalapenos. And the seeds are what makes it really hot. So see how that turned out? That looks really good. So this is how my meat turned out after about 8 hours on low simmering heat. Looks delicious. But I wanted to show you some pico de gallo I made while everything was cooking. And I'm not going to show you the recipe here, but it turned out really good. There's my salsa. There's my taco. We're getting ready to dip it, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. It was so excellent. That was my dipping sauce. Cut up some onions and some cilantro in it. That was some of the meat. It was so tender. I mean, the kids even loved it. Even my 3-year-old. So, bon appetit.